On paper, Street Gods sounds fantastic. You're a mortal who, by catastrophic cosmic mishap, ends up wielding Mjolnir, Thor's actual hammer. You move through levels picking up new powers, runes, and magical upgrades, evolving your abilities the deeper you go. As someone who's a complete sucker for Norse mythology, the moment I saw the runes and the logo, I was all in. Hit me, I said. The setup is promising. The world is under magical siege. Thor has been trapped inside his hammer, and he acts as both guide and mentor. You start smashing demons and monsters. You find the occasional chest. You pick up power-ups, and you even run into Loki, now transformed into a slightly helpful rock. The tone has whimsy. The atmosphere feels like it could go somewhere, and for a little while, it seems like the game might actually deliver on its premise. But then, about 2 hours in, you hit the wall. You realize you're running through the same maps again and again. And I know it's a roguelite, but still, fighting the same roster of enemies again and again. The combat, supposedly the game's backbone, becomes repetitive, floaty, and shockingly devoid of physical or narrative weight. A few new enemy types appear, sure. I fought and defeated a boss. I ran into Hugin and Munin, Odin's ravens, who I normally have an incredible soft spot for, but none of it landed. The enemies weren't original. The boss fight was uninspired, and the ravens were, sorry Hugin, sorry Munin, boring. At some point after several hours of play, it hit me that I had never once died. Not a single time. So I stood still and waited for the enemies to kill me, just to see what the game thinks should happen. Turns out, nothing special. You get bumped back to the limbo puzzle room, the game's checkpoint hub essentially, and you continue as if nothing really happened. And that's when it really crystallized. Street Gods is tedious, uninspired, and disappointing. This actually surprised me. Soul Assembly made The Cabin, which remains one of our absolute favorite quest titles, something I've played with both Pete and my 11-year-old son, and still recommend easily. Soul Assembly plus Norse mythology should have been an easy win. But it's not. Visually, Street Gods isn't bad. The art direction is competent and the effects are often cool, but for a story rooted in Norse myth, a cosmology built on grandeur and cosmic scale, the game feels small. There are no awe-inspiring set pieces, no Asgardian majesty, no moments where the world makes you stop and think, wow. The graphics do their job, but they never elevate the experience. I kept waiting for that, holy hell, I'm wielding Mjolnir in VR moment. It never came. I remain unawed. Sound effects are fine, the music is forgettable, the protagonist's voice acting is oddly inconsistent, like it's aiming for a hip, young American girl vibe but keeps slipping into something else. Thor's voice acting fares better, but none of it matters when the writing is this bland. Monologues and dialogues drag on without adding anything, to the point where the game gently reminds you on every level that you can skip them. When your own game is nudging players away from its story, it's not really a good sign. There's simply no emotional or narrative heft tying anything together. I didn't finish Street Gods, which is why this isn't a full review. It's an impressions piece, no matter how many of you are going to call it a review in the comments. Yes, I know, we've all been there. But I did play for around 4 or 5 hours, largely so I could honestly tell you I gave it a fair chance. The truth is that 1 hour in, the game had already burned through whatever goodwill its opening minutes had earned. Everything after that was an exercise in waiting for something interesting to happen. It never did. If you like repetitive combat, enjoy skipping dialogue, and don't mind looping through the same environments with minimal variation, then maybe there's something here for you. But even then, there are far better options on quests, some of which we've reviewed. Go ahead, take a look at our playlists. Street Gods is a disappointing miss from a studio that previously delivered a gem. The game's promising premise is buried under an uninspired story, tedious dialogue, repetitive encounters, weak level design, bland puzzles, and bafflingly, a system that blocks out the entire screen whenever you move one foot in any direction or even just look down. Why? Why? Anyway, that's all I've got to say about Street Gods. If you do have the game, if you bought it and you've enjoyed it and you feel differently about it, please let us know in the comments. It'll help out other people who may be curious about the game and who might have been put off by what I've said. Otherwise, if you found this video useful, give us a like, give us a subscribe. About 70% of you are not subscribed. I don't know why. Why are you watching? You're not subscribed, but you're watching. Subscribe. Go ahead. Okay, anyway, have a wonderful day, and catch you later.